So Anthony Joshua beat Prenga, and this is my analysis. Now, before the fight, there were big expectations for AJ, big pressure. And before the fight, what would you want to see? Well, I wanted to see some rounds, I wanted to see domination, and I wanted to see a viral knockout. On the other hand, for Prenga, there is no pressure, but there's the question: will he dance, will he fight, or will he do both? So let's go through the fight. So in round one, a nice short left hook from AJ gets Prenga's attention. But 30 seconds in, and AJ is on the floor. Now in hindsight, I believe with the first knockdown, it was an overhand right from out of distance, but then followed with a right uppercut. And that's what put AJ on the floor. AJ gets up, he's brave, he's courageous, and then soon after, Prenga lands another huge right hand, and at this point, AJ is showing that he's defensively being irresponsible. Noticeably, Prenga is being very aggressive in the pocket, and AJ is showing vulnerabilities there. Another lead right hand from Prenga, and AJ again is struggling. And Prenga is throwing really powerful punches. He's throwing punches with vicious intent. And then we have the second knockdown. AJ again gets up, he is brave, he's courageous, and he finishes the round, sticking his tongue out. But objectively, that is possibly one of the worst rounds of his career. He needs to get the jab working, and he needs to get his feet working, and he needs to get some respect. Prenga is having success with the lead left hook, and particularly with the uppercuts, and fighting viciously in the pocket. So leading into round two, AJ is trying to establish his jab, and now he's stepping into the right, creating that unique angle for the right hand. And AJ starts throwing the right hand. Again, AJ is still looking vulnerable in the pocket. He seems to lack focus in this area. But AJ now is throwing the 1-2, the jab, the straight right hand, and he's throwing it with force. Additional to this, he's using the step back. So now he's using his movement, and he's using it effectively. AJ is using his feet, and he lands a massive right hand. I believe it's a combination. And just like that, the fight is over. And that was exciting. That was a war. It was brief, but it was intense. And it was viral, but it was also vulnerable. So here's some thoughts. Joshua showed courage, but there's a legitimate question here. Does he have issues with his punch resistance? Let's look at the positives. The half step back was good. The 1-2 was good. And the finish was viral. It came out of nowhere. He started to get a little bit of momentum, landing the right hand, landing 1 or 2 1-2s. But that finish, it just came out of nowhere. And he came back from the brink of defeat. So that's a tick for bravery. Prenga, on the other hand, was brave, and he showed serious power. He definitely came to win, and he wasn't overawed by the occasion. So in the end, in truth, both AJ and Fury have looked vulnerable in their fights. AJ needs more rounds, but more importantly, he needs more refinement. Also, the uppercut that hurt him on several occasions is one of Tyson Fury's favorite punches. So AJ needs to improve on his defense. But in fairness to AJ, he had a nightmare start and he was able to come back. I think Tyson Fury will look at that performance and he will be extremely confident. But likewise, AJ will look at Tyson Fury's performance and he will also be able to gather some confidence. I think ultimately AJ will want more rounds before he gets in the ring with Tyson Fury. He's ticked the box for psychological strength, which really we knew he had, but he also needs to tick the box to having more rounds. And he definitely needs more refinement. He needs to show improvements with regards to his defense. And I think he needs time to develop this new style, because under Usyk's team, it's a different AJ. And it's hard to tell if this version of AJ is the best version of AJ. Because like I said, that first round was possibly one of the worst rounds of his career. Let's briefly talk about the other fights. So Josh Kelly, he had a hard title defense. He won the early rounds, but his opponent started gaining momentum. Josh Kelly then came back, took the championship rounds, and Josh had a very bad nose injury, so he showed a lot of courage and a lot of character to came through that. Now, previously, heading into the fight, Josh Kelly would have wanted an emphatic victory to raise his profile. Instead, he had to show determination and courage in what was a tough, but at times messy fight. It was not a dominant performance, but it was a brave performance, and it required boxing IQ. It required adaptations. What is the future for Josh Kelly? Funduro or Boots Ennis? Now, Boots Ennis may be a generational great, but Funduro is a giant. Both fights would be mammoth tasks. He would be an underdog in both of those fights, I think. But they are big paydays, but with huge risks. Now, Hamza Shiraz also was defending his title. This fight was really interesting because he was fighting a southpaw and there was an interesting front foot battle. There was good composure from the challenger, good hand placement, a really good southpaw jab to the body. Hamza Shiraz applied good front foot pressure. He was patient. He was looking for punishing counters, and he had a really vicious left hook to the body, extremely vicious. This, in the end, turned out to be an underwhelming performance from Hamza Shiraz. But let's not minimize the performance from the opponent, because he definitely came to fight. There was no acceleration from Hamza Shiraz, no viral finish. And I think that's the expectation. We have those type of expectations from Hamza Shiraz. He was composed, he was patient, but he needed to take the bull by the horns. He needed to make that acceleration, and he simply didn't. So let's go back to AJ. And if we're honest, he looked very vulnerable in that first round. However, his redemption powers were very impressive, but it's important to remember that. AJ was punching with authority. His 1-2 was vicious, and the hook at the end was extremely vicious. But his lack of focus in the pocket, to me, that's a concern. He just seemed to just switch off when he was in that distance, and he needs to make amendments to that, because Tyson Fury is a fighter that will exploit that. I think AJ needs more rounds. I think he needs to find his momentum, and he needs to reclaim his timing. This performance actually makes Tyson Fury look less vulnerable. And the objective truth may be that both of these warriors are vulnerable. And at this time, it's hard to assess the effectiveness of AJ linking up with Usyk's team. In theory, it sounds like a great idea, but it's hard to assess if that has been effective. Perhaps the preparation and perhaps the environment that he trained in enabled him to come back and have those redemption qualities. And in the end, it was not a dominant performance, but it was entertaining, and it was viral, and it was a win. So that's the end of the video. Now I'm trying to build a digital boxing community, and that means I'm interested in your thoughts, I'm interested in your perspectives, and I'm interested in your observations. Now, if you want to support the channel, press like, hype, and subscribe. And if you want to watch more content like this, then simply click here or click here. As always, thanks for your time. It is much appreciated.